The leaked draft that has been authenticated is even more than a full-bore attack on a woman's reproductive rights. It might be an opening assault on fundamental rights and liberties that most of us assumed were now permanently ingrained in the American fabric. To put in perspective how radical and unrepresentative what 5 justices appear posed to enact, I want you to consider the following. All red states would immediately criminalize abortion. Now, everything about this tyranny of the minority is wrong. To start with, the 5 conservative justices are all hypocrites, and 4 of them bald-faced liars. The premise of stare decisis, or settled law, is that when the court rules and reaffirms on an issue, precedent is established. Now, these same justices, the Republican Party, and every conservative legal authority, they've all publicly condemned activist courts that inject their politics in upending decided cases. They are doing exactly what they've railed against. And not even 1 in 3 Americans support what they're doing. But beyond the hypocrisy, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett, they testified under oath in Senate confirmation hearings and again conveying these thoughts in private meetings with senators that Roe was the settled law of the land. They lied through their teeth. In justifying this radical activism, Alito wrote that Roe was, quote-unquote, purchasing contraceptives wasn't explicitly spelled out, obviously, by the Founding Fathers. I guarantee you that the day after Roe is repealed at the end of June, red states will pass laws banning IUDs and the morning after pill. By Alito's reasoning, they'll be right. How about the right to marry? Well, until 1967, interracial marriage was banned, and only 7 years ago, same-sex marriage was also prohibited. Again, by Alito's reasoning, because they cannot be found in the constitutional text, they are not protected rights. And that's only the beginning. Missouri legislators, they're so fired up about what Alito's opinion said, they're already drafting legislation that would criminalize residents to cross state lines to get an abortion in another state. Now, as an aside, I find it really rich that the same people who screamed about big government overreach and their freedoms being attacked because they had to wear a mask during a pandemic now find reason to celebrate that same government can force women who are victims of rape and incest to carry their assailant's child to term. But I think more than abusing their authority and not representing the public's interests or wants, the conservative Supreme Court has just made life far more difficult for Republicans. Now, I found it pretty telling yesterday that on Fox News, there was no spiking of the football. Their coverage was nearly entirely focused on the leaked draft and not what it said. They know that when the consequences of Roe's repeal are fully explained and candidates have to pick a side this midterm season, winning seats becomes that much more difficult. Moreover, when people realize that other basic rights beyond the ones that even I mentioned that we've taken for granted are suddenly no longer secure, this goes from unpopular to possibly the deciding factor for the GOP blowing a chance at majorities in Congress. I cannot believe we're going backwards as a nation yet again. But like so much of the past 5 years, the assaults on democracy that Trump birthed and now the justices that he appointed are codifying those assaults into law. They've become our new normal. The tyranny of the minority is here. Lord help us.